All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Derek Ting. Derek, welcome. So awesome to have you on the show today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You
Happy New Year.
bet. I'll tell you what, I have really been looking forward to this because you and we got to connect a month or two ago, and I was absolutely blown away by your story and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm looking forward to getting Derek on the podcast. So, what I'll do is I'm just going to start by asking you, Derek, nice simple question. What do you do and who do you serve?
I'm the CEO and co-founder of TextNow.
Okay.
We have a free phone service you can download as an app. So you download our app, give you a phone number, you can text and call for free. And we've got also a free data plan as well. And yeah, we started the company 16 years ago with the mission to make phone service free because I was a college student back then and didn't want to pay for phone service. So
Uh-huh.
decided to make text now. And yeah,
Very cool. So you've
yeah.
been doing this for 16 years now. And I'll definitely get into the background and the backstory with you a little bit too. But first, before we get there, what has you most jazzed and excited about like where you guys are right now and where you see this company going from here?
Yeah, when we first started, like it was just free texting.
Okay.
So I remember getting the first iPhone and I remember, to get the phone plan, you had to pay $20 for texting, $20 for calling, $20 for data. And then my first reaction was I have to pay $20 for data and then I have to pay $20 for texting. Well, why can't I just use my data to text? And that was kind of the birth of Text Now. I wanted to say, look, there was a better way to do this. And the first version of Text Now was an app where you can download and you can text for free. You don't have to get a texting plan. And also did other texting apps, both parties have to have the app free to use it. With Text Now, I want to make an app where you can text anyone for free. That's kind of how it first started, is just my own desire not to pay for texting plan. And then eventually the aha moment was a lot of people weren't just using it to save money on texting. A lot of people were using it to turn their iPod touches into phones because they couldn't afford phone service. So our
Okay.
app became their only way to like communicate with their friends and family. And that was kind of our aha moment, that it wasn't just texting that we needed to make free. It was like actually phone service. A lot of people needed phone service. And if you think about it, phone service is expensive and it's actually not a luxury. It's a necessity. You needed to get a doctor's appointment. You needed to apply for a job. So as I thought more about it, that became a very exciting mission to figure out how to make phone service free. And we just ever since then got so obsessed with the problem. So then once we made texting free, we figured out how to make, giving away the phone number for free. Because back then, we only you could text for free, but you can get your own phone number. So we
Mhm.
figured that out and figured out how to make calling free. And and now the biggest thing we're working on is making just talk, text, and data, all of it free. And we have like some form of a free data plan now that you can use some apps for free with our free data plan. But our vision is to just make it so that paying for phone service is like a foreign concept. Like paying for like,
Wow.
yeah, that
Wow.
and we're making significant progress towards it. We've got a form of free data plan, but over time we're gonna make that free data plan better, better, better.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this year we've got a lot of like milestones to do that. So what you see today, by the end of the year, you're gonna see something way better than what we have now. And that's what I'm really excited about is that we're making so much progress and towards our vision to just big phone service free.
Yeah. So
Uh,
how many customers do you guys serve right now?
we've got about 10 million monthly
10
active,
million. Okay.
10 million unique people, users
Yeah.
served.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. You guys are definitely getting some traction. So I don't know the first thing. about running a technology business. I know absolutely nothing about that. And talking with you before, I was really fascinated by your story and stuff. And how did you get started? I mean, did you just start completely on your own and bootstrap this thing, or did you raise some money? I mean, how do you even get started in a business like this, Derek?
The I mean, the way it started actually didn't start as a business. It
Okay.
started as like a project. Started
Okay.
as like I would say a hobby, so to speak. It was the time when Apple released the iPhone SDK. It was like the first time you could like build apps for the iPhone and
Okay.
publish it in the App Store. So like that concept was super novel, right? Anyone, including college student, could
Sure.
put an app, put in the App Store for everyone to download and and actually like pay for it or whatever. And we take it for granted now, but like in 2009, it's like such a novel
Yeah.
concept that
Yeah.
like unless back then, unless you're a big like software publisher, like there's no way for independent publishers of software to make money, right? So this was like a break. This was like a game changer for a lot of people. And so this meant for me as a college student, I could build stuff and distribute it myself.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. So actually, that's how it started. It was just me making things
Okay.
and,
So
and publishing it.
did you create an app then to put on on the App Store and stuff?
That's how it started. And the first thing I made was like a daily recipe app. That
Okay.
was like really the first thing I made to learn how everything worked. It was like
Mhm.
I made an app that like every day it gave you a new recipe to
Okay.
make. And then it was a very simple app.
Uh-huh.
I made it like $1, and then
Okay.
people actually bought it. I was like, my mind was blown at the time. I was like, okay, I put this app out there. People were buying it. So
I'm picturing my wife as you're talking about this. I'm like, she would totally buy something like that. It's
yeah. So I that was kind of like the first like thing I built. It was just for fun. And um then I built like a video game, like a lemonade stand video game.
okay.
I even hired like an artist to like make like the cartoon figures for it and all the artwork for it.
Okay.
Um, and I made a decent amount of money doing that.
Mhm.
It was like back then it was meaningful money for a
Yeah.
college student. So that was like the first two things I did. And then the text now idea was kind of one of those projects.
Okay.
It's just like it came from my annoyance, right? I had to pay
Uh-huh.
say on the song like that's the next app I'm gonna make. It's like a free texting app. Except back then it could like the one I made could only send messages. It couldn't receive messages because it was much easier to just build the one that could send and the
Uh-huh.
receiving it was like a lot more work.
So you
So
can so you can send messages, but you're not going to hear back from anybody.
yeah, exactly. That was the first version. And it's surprising people still bought that. So then that's when I recruited like a college classmate to build out the rest of it, right?
Okay.
And then he
Okay.
became the co-founder of that project, which became a business, which became what it is today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, how did the progression of this go, Derek? Because I remember you telling me how you did at some point raise some money and stuff, but the way you went about it was really cool. And I want to have you share that story of like how you got that investor and stuff. And like maybe it was more investors than one, but I don't know. Do you remember the story that you shared with me a couple months ago?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think like so when we kind of transitioned from like, okay, like this was a fun project, right? To
Uh-huh.
like let's actually make this a real product. Let's make sure like let's turn to like a real business. That was like a deliberate transition.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of investments we had to make. So because back then we weren't like using like the right infrastructure to like send the messages, right? We were using email to do it, email gateways to do it, which was not as reliable. So we had to like actually like work directly with the carriers to do it. We need to like spend money basically to like
Hmm.
build the app, right? Um, and so there was a period of time where we went from like a really profitable company to be like a company that broke even,
Hmm.
uh, because we had to spend all this money to invest in it kind of being durable, being sustainable.
Yeah.
And we knew that as we got bigger, we'll eventually make money. But like for this year, we weren't going to make money
Hmm.
for the long term. And then we were actually fine, like cash flow wise for a while, and there became a point where we had some cash flow challenges. We needed money, and then that's kind of when we started the fundraising process. And
Okay.
and kind of like the simple way in terms of what I did was we were in Canada at that time. There weren't a lot of venture capitalists in Canada in the year 2011.
Okay.
It wasn't like a it wasn't like a there wasn't much of an industry there for that, especially for like doing what we're doing, which is like so foreign to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knocked on every venture capitalist door I knew locally. I reached out to anyone I knew that had money, and had my pitch deck and showed them the business, and got a lot of no's. And then eventually I remember, and so anyway, it was kind of discouraging actually, like
Sure.
there's the old saying, you gotta get used to rejection, and it only takes one yes, because I was get a lot of rejections and
Yep.
zero yeses, and I was running out of doors to knock on. So so then at that point I actually like remember there was this one guy that reached out to me like a long time ago because his niece was a customer
Okay.
product. And then I remember him saying, "Oh yeah, I'm also a venture capitalist." I was like, "Oh wow," right? I remember at the time. And then so I just like for some reason it clicked. I remembered that guy,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so I reached out to him and was like, "Yeah, like we're raising money, etc. Are you interested?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to this conference next week. Are you going to that conference?" And I was like, yeah, I am going to that conference. I'll see you there. So
That's
bought
right.
tickets to that conference, went to see him, and then told him, hey, yeah, we're raising money. Like there's still a chance for you to like get in and
Hmm.
all that.
Still a chance.
You
Yep.
know, yeah. So a bit of bluffing, a little
Hmm.
bit of poker playing. And I was like, yeah, like I'm good, but like I'm open to, look at other offers if you want to make one. And he was really interested. So the last door I knocked on became the door that worked
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
um so
And that
that
was back in 2011, you said?
yeah, it was like 2011, and I think 2012 was when we closed, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so he invested with you guys, which then allowed you guys to, do the investments that you guys needed to do and stuff. And so is that relationship, are you guys still doing anything to this day, or was that just kind of for a period of time?
Oh yeah, he's still like a shareholder.
Okay.
We still talk. I
Yeah.
still give updates
Yeah.
on the business, and definitely we've surpassed all expectations everyone had of us.
Hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah,
Um,
you bet it is.
yeah.
That's like, that's not just good. I mean, that's huge, Derek. That's huge
Mhm.
because, I mean, yeah, yeah, most businesses like they don't get to go through all of these processes that you've been through and all this experience over a 16-year period. Stuff comes up or maybe they get to the point like you got to where you're like, okay, we were cruising along and everything's really profitable and stuff. And now we're at this point and like, wow, we really got to make an investment from here and we don't have cash flow right now.
Mhm.
and that can be totally the bottleneck that stops some businesses dead in their tracks right there, you know.
Yeah.
And so, and that's what I really appreciate about, the first conversation we have. I was like, man, you just have a fascinating story, and you are just this guy that you just figure stuff out, you just figure stuff out. Then when things come up, you're like, I'm gonna figure it out. And all the rejection, I mean, welcome to being an entrepreneur, man. That's just part of it, But like you said, it only takes one yes from one right person to make all the difference, as you experienced. And so I mean, so okay, so 16 years in, you're now at this place where I mean, you guys are just really getting some traction. You got 10 million users already. Now you're getting, you're working on data and getting that to be able to be part of this too and stuff. I mean, I mean, how many, like, we just got into a new year here, January 2026. How many users do you think you'll be at the end of this year?
Well, I think our goal is to grow as much as
Yeah,
possible. But it's not just to grow, but it's also to deliver more value for
that's
free.
right. That's
Our
right.
goal is the more we deliver, more value we deliver for free and profitable and with profitable economics, the more customers will tell other customers
Yes.
because they'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, you can't believe this free thing I have. And now it's like, oh my gosh, they're giving us more free, like more for free. So then they'll tell their friends and more people will come and then we'll get more customers, right? And then when we get more customers, also the advertisers will be more interested in advertisers, more advertisers interested. So
You
then
bet.
we make more money and then we give more people stuff for free. So that flywheel we have, like we just keep turning it. And
Yes.
that's that's the way it works. And as we keep turning it, we'll get more customers. And the
Yes.
faster
Yeah.
we turn it, the more customers we get. So our goal this year is to crank that flywheel as hard as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are most of your customers, are they younger kids? Who's the makeup of your customers?
Yeah, there's not like one homogeneous profile of
Okay.
customers. It's a diverse group of people.
Mhm.
So yes, young people are a segment of our
Mhm.
audience,
Mhm.
and also people that just either can't pay or don't want to pay for phone service. So that can be anyone, from folks that are hitting kind of a rough patch financially to folks that are just looking to save money.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that, and then yeah, and then also there's a lot of folks that for whatever reason they need another phone line and they don't want to break the bank to get another
Mhm.
phone line. So there are folks that use our service as their business line or like a second phone line for whatever reason that they need
Okay.
line. So
Okay.
that's also another use case.
Okay.
So we've got like a diverse
Yeah.
group of people that use our service.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, so now that we've got a little bit of context set here and stuff, I want to switch gears just a little bit in our conversation. I want to move into the relationships a little bit. And so I want to start by asking, have you ever been introduced to a person or a persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today wouldn't be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships, Derek.
Yeah, it sounds kind of cliche, but I would say like it's really like my mom. And
Okay.
again, I guess I got introduced her to her technically
Yep. Yep.
at first, but I think like the parents are the biggest influence, I would say.
Totally. Yeah.
And I would say like I would say the kind of like the key thing that kind of got me to where I am is she always prioritized like education, my education, which I'm really grateful for. She um would, yeah, to a point where like she will stretch her finances to put me into private school even.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so I remember like in sixth grade, she transferred me from a public school to a private school.
Okay.
And it's not like well, that's kind of when I learned that like it's not necessarily about the school itself. It's about who do you go to school with
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
helps you learn things. And that was an interesting experience because my peers were completely different going to a private school.
Yeah.
And then I had peers that taught me stuff. And I remember I had one friend that in that private school taught me like a lot of things that obviously changed my life today.
Okay. Okay.
So first, like he was really into computers. I didn't really know much about computers.
All
So
right.
I would go to over to his house. He would be like building a new computer or something, and I would watch what he's doing. I would like read the magazines he would be reading,
Uh-huh.
and I got into it myself. Then I would, say go back home and be like, hey, I want like also to build a new computer. Um, and so I was just kind of like learning from him
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Another thing that actually I found like wasn't like computer related, but like from the same friend is like his parents taught him like economics and business as well, like at a young
Ah,
age.
wow.
And I learned from him like economics and business. So we were like in sixth grade or something, and
That's like
he was
really
telling me about the Wall Street
impressive.
Journal. He was telling me about like stocks he was buying. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, so I got like really like early exposure to
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would say if I didn't get exposure to stuff like that, I don't think I'd be doing what I'd be doing today. I
Well,
don't think so. Yeah.
Why, yeah, I totally agree. And that is
Yeah.
like really abnormal for a sixth grader to be, like getting taught economics and all that. I mean, that doesn't even happen in the school system today at all, that stuff just isn't taught anymore and stuff. And so, and you're so right that, that who we hang out with, man, that makes all the difference in the world. Who we hang out with, who we spend our time with, who we learn from and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you 100% that was like, that's what got you initially intrigued by this stuff, that like, oh, man, this is really cool. I want to do more of this. And
Yeah. Otherwise, it was just the other thing was hockey, really. So, unless I was going to make it to the NHL, it didn't really matter, right?
yeah.
It's not going to make me any money,
So
right?
were you doing hockey? When did you start doing hockey? Were you in hockey already at sixth grade playing
So
hockey?
yeah, I mean, I immigrated to Canada from Hong Kong
Okay.
when I was 8 years old, and then like that was like all my peers. That's what they were into.
Hmm.
So that's another
It's a
thing I
big
got.
thing in Canada, man.
As soon as I came to Canada, that was the thing I had to do. That was
Yeah.
the thing I would like ask my mom literally every day, be like, "Can I play?"
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like she had no idea. She like all she didn't know anything about hockey. All she saw was like people missing teeth on TV, getting injuries. Just like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I should be sending you to hockey.
What's funny is we have I live in Arlington, Washington, so I'm about
Yeah,
40 miles north of Seattle. I'm about an hour from the Canadian border, yeah, at
yeah.
British Columbia, and our local hockey team here in Everett, the Silvertips. Most of the players on that team are from Canada.
Oh, really?
They're all Canadian players and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love going to watch hockey. And I've been taking my kids. My daughter Eliana, she's 14 now, but I've been taking her to hockey games since she was like 4 and 5 and stuff. And I remember after taking her to a couple, her and I had gone back to another hockey game, and we were just parking, getting ready to walk to the venue there, and she's probably yeah 6 years old, and I'm holding her hand walking over there, and she's like, "Dad," she goes, "You think we're gonna see him bleed tonight?" I'm like, when did my daughter get so into this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love going to watch hockey games.
Yeah. Never know what's gonna happen.
Well, I'll tell you. So,
Yeah.
um, so your friend that you met in sixth grade at
Yeah.
school and stuff. Are you guys still friends to this day and stuff?
Yeah, we kind of lost touch,
Okay.
but like I think last time I talked to him was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe,
Okay.
or maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So
So
it
he knew
was
you started this company and stuff.
yeah. Like
Okay.
whenever like he's still in Canada, so whenever there was a while where like when I went to Canada, I would like say, "Hey, what are you up to? Let's go
Yeah.
grab lunch, catch
Yeah.
up, or grab dinner and catch up."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then ever since I had kids, it's been less frequent. Like my old relationships, I've been less proactive in keeping,
Sure.
um, just because, yeah,
It
just
totally happens. It
I
totally.
feel like that's life sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
you just, once you have kids and you kind of
You
like
bet.
you're into the chaos, you kind of have less time to like
Yeah.
make full
Yeah.
relationships. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation. And I, like I said, I am just really you are an inspiration. How old are you right now, Derek?
38.
38. So, I turned 60 this last year and I feel at 60, I'm just like really now starting to just really seriously figure stuff out, know. And at 38, you've already been doing your thing for 16 years. So you've been doing it, what we're talking since you were 22 is when you really started doing this and stuff, pretty much like right out of college and stuff. And you are just a real inspiration. I know the followers, the listeners of this podcast are entrepreneurs, founders, CEOs, and stuff. And I was looking forward to doing this interview with you because I just knew that your story was just going to inspire other entrepreneurs and stuff. And so I really want to thank you for taking the time to have this conversation today. And for anybody that's like sitting here listening to this right now going, yeah, Kev, you're totally right, man. I'm glad you interviewed Derek because he is a fascinating guy. And maybe some of them are curious about learning more about what you guys do. So we should definitely share your website or any other resources we want to share in case people want to get a hold of you or your company or what have you.
Uh, yeah, but thanks for having me. Appreciate you, you know, having me on here. I really enjoyed the conversation.
You bet. Is there any last thing you feel led to share before we call it a wrap?
Yeah, if anyone wants, free phone service, needs a phone number, wants to check us out,
And your website's
check us out at
textnow.com, correct?
textnow.com. Yeah, it's free. It's free to download.
Okay.
Check us out.
So what's the deal? Do they have to have their own phone? How does it work, Derek?
You just pick up your phone and you search Text Now in the App Store, download our
Okay.
app, and
Okay.
then app will take care of the rest. We'll give you a phone number. So if you want to just like you want a second phone line or you want to just see, if you can find a phone number that you like, you can just
Mhm.
download our app and
Okay.
get a local phone number from your local area code, and then start texting and calling for free with it right away.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Derek, once again, thanks so much for taking the time to have this conversation today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited to get this out there and share it with folks. So thanks much, man.
Thank you so much.
You bet.